Now, this is a really interesting scene. This is the only time in the show that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone together on stage. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I suppose that's normal, considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, chaperone?
No, I drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam. I'm afraid we're fresh out of olives.
Have you ever been married, Emily?
Heavens, no, madam. I'm willing to serve a woman I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
Oh, you too. I know it must seem crazy to give up a successful career for a man I hardly know. But somehow, for some reason, when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, gee, I get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by any number of things. I'm woozy right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by that time, she was in her late 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. Still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be included in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate. You just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Really, you're not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration? Really, dear, that's not my forte.
Yes, but if you would...
As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure where to turn or what to do. Still we bungle our way through life's crazy labyrinth, knowing left from right nor right from wrong. And the best that we can do is hope a bluebird will sing his song as we stumble along.
That was quite nice, chaperone. But I just don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Let me explain.
Oh, really, that's not necessary. I suppose
It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. Seven overrated wonders, seven underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica.
Still, you mustn't let it lick you. This planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along, cross life's crowded dance floor, as we push and we shove,
rousing anthem about alcoholism. That's what I love about her. She just does her own thing, regardless of the needs and concerns of others, whenever she wants. My mother was like that.
That was quite inspiring, chaperone. But I'm still conflicted. Please, just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
My dear, that's something you'll have to decide for yourself.
But I just don't know if he loves me.
Why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert, and I'm not allowed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're right, and I take the responsibility very seriously. However, I am just this moment feeling terribly, terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I have to have a nightie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go wandering off into the garden, seeking out your fiancé, to ask him the question upon which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.